It was close to midnight when I was leaving the university campus. I had been working late in the photography lab, developing photos for a project my tutor had given me. This was well before digital photography, so I had been in the dark room for a long time, dipping the photographic paper into different liquids, and left the photos to develop overnight. It was dark, but a short walk back to the car park when I saw someone walk towards me. He was a man in his early 40s, I'd guess. I was about to cross to the other side when I felt something sharp touch my back. Across the road, a man said behind me in a hushed tone. I headed straight for the man in front of me, ignoring the other, pleading for it to be one of the professors, someone who recognized me. "What are you doing?" he said. I could hear the anger in his voice. The other man in front came into view under a street light. I grimaced and mouthed for help. I had no idea who he was. He had short grey hair, balding, a chubby, friendly face, and a dark jacket. "So good to see you," he said, embracing me hard, then whispered, "That man has a knife. Play along." "It's been a long time," I said nervously, and the man smelled my hair. "You smell really good," he said, putting his arm around me. He led me to the car park, checking behind him to see if the man had gone. "We're safe now," he said. "Thank you so much. Shouldn't we call someone?" "That's a good idea. Do you have a car?" "Yeah," I said, looking around, fumbling in my pocket for my keys. "Shit, my keys are gone." I thought back to the man and wondered if he had taken them out of my coat pocket. "I can't leave you here alone with someone like that around. I can give you a lift." "We need to report him. I have a car phone. We can do it on the way to your house." I was so grateful and still on edge. He led me to his car, a blue BMW, some sort of sports car. "Where do you live?" he asked. I gave him directions and we pulled out of campus. All I did was search in the dark night for the man who almost abducted me. He called the university and was put through to security. He described the man to them. "What's your name?" Sally Marshall," I offered. He described me. "I'm a student here." He equated it and thanked them. He chuckled. "That was a close one," he said. "You have to wonder what would have happened if I wasn't there." We followed the roads to my parents' house and my shoulders began to relax. "Thank you," I said, and he smiled back to me. His car phone rang. "Excuse me," he said, picking it up. His demeanor changed almost instantly. "Stay where you are, mother. I'm just dropping someone off. I can help you in a minute." "Don't move. You may hurt yourself. Calm down. I won't be long." He put the phone down, agitated. "What's happened?" I asked. "My mother's fallen over again." "Is she in danger?" "She will be fine. She's a plastic hip. As long as she doesn't move, I think she'll be okay." "How far away do you live?" He turned in the direction we had come. "10 minutes that way. We can go now. I will get the taxi from your place." "No, it's fine," he said, shaking his head. It didn't look like it was the first time that had happened. "Please, it's the least I can do. You may need help getting her up." "Are you sure?" "Positive," I said. "Thank you so much." He turned in the road and drove off at speed. I was happy. I was going to help the man who helped me. Karma. I saw a car race past us and slam on its brakes and follow. I kept checking the wing mirror, leaning my head to see properly. "What are you doing?" the man said somewhat nervously. "I think someone is following us." He checked the rear view and pulled down a side street, then squealed into another and another. He was mostly silent for the rest of the drive, except for small grunts he made when he changed the direction quickly. "I think they're gone," he said. "Thank you, I appreciate that." "Do you think it was the man with the knife?" "Almost certainly he's not going to want you to get away." I didn't see his face, but I did. A few minutes later he pulled into a makeshift driveway. The house was one of those narrow streets of townhouses where the cars parked half on, half off the pavement. The front garden had been tarmacked for the use of cars. The man was visibly agitated when we got out. He searched the stones near the steps, producing a key and opening the door. A musty odor wafted out. "Mom," the man announced. "Who's that?" an old woman's voice shouted from within the house. The man rushed in and I followed. "You're okay," he said, relieved. "How did you get yourself back in the chair?" "Of course I'm okay," the old woman said, annoyed. "Who is this?" "Another one, Charlie." "How many do you need?" "I'm sorry," the man apologized. "She's got dementia." "No, I haven't," the old woman scolded. The man twirled his finger about his temple. I smiled back at him. "I'll phone your taxi," he said. "I don't want to leave my mother alone. Do you understand?" "Of course I do. Would you like a cup of tea while you wait?" "Sure," I said, sitting down in a chair opposite his mother. Charlie disappeared into the kitchen. "Who are you then?" "I'm Sally. What are you doing with my awful son? He saved me today." The woman cackled. "That will be first. I suppose you're going to want to go upstairs, like he does with all the other women, a different one every night." The woman turned to the kitchen and shouted, "When are you going to get married? I want a granddaughter." She rocked back and forth, her arms folded in front of her. That's when I saw him, a silhouette barely visible through the net curtains at the front of the house. I watched as the head disappears from view, then heard sound of scratching from the front door. "Charlie," I whispered, shouted. He returned moments later with the mug of tea. "What's going on? Is my mother telling you stories?" "There's someone trying to get in." I got up and ran to the corner of the room and hid in a small ball. All the anxiety that I'd been holding back exploded. Charlie turned off the living room light. "What are you doing?"